Hi there, everyone. My name is Chris, and this is Tunnel Vision Garden. TV, maybe, but Tunnel Vision Garden. Why Tunnel Vision, you might ask? You might be thinking to yourselves. Well, it all started back in 2014. I went to the local builder's merchant and I bought a few old scaffolding planks for a few quid, and I sawed them in half, nailed them together, and created four lovely 8 foot by 4 foot raised beds. I filled them with topsoil and I bought onion sets, carrot sets, parsnip sets, and I grew turnip, I grew cabbage, and and cauliflower, and I had quite a successful crop that year. So the following year, I decided to do the same again. And then my mind started working a little bit over time, and I thought I need a tiny little bit of a lean-to greenhouse or something that I can grow tomatoes in. So I got a few old window frames off a neighbour, and I threw together a lean-to against the house, and I grew a few varieties of tomatoes, and they all came out really well. So that's 2 years, and then in 2016, I thought to myself, how about getting a polytunnel? Well, due to working quite a lot, it took me 3 more years to realize that tunnel vision that I had, the little dream I had of having a polytunnel um, in the garden. So then when I got the polytunnel in 2019, I decided to just grow exotic kind of sweet corn, peppers, tomatoes, chilies in the tunnel. And for a year, that was satisfactory. However, last year, the scaffolding planks were starting to rot because they were a few years old, and they were just knackered basically. And then I decided to go out, buy some decent timber, and then put together 6 beds, which is still 6 beds, but is turning into 8 plus more plus more. And I'll give you a tour around the garden that I'm building. This is an introduction into who I am and what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I guess it's just good to look back on, a bit of fun, maybe a few subscribers. It's all a bit of fun, and it's all to do with the garden, which I find a very interesting topic. And if you're watching this, hopefully you find it just as interesting. I'm no professional by any means. I've had a few good successful crops, especially sweet corn, since I've had the tunnel. I'm probably intermediate at this point. I have been doing it like 7 years now. So I've read a lot. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've watched a lot of things on gardening. I read magazines, bought books. So I'm quite up in my mind about it. I still make huge mistakes, of which I'll show you as we go around the garden. So follow me if you're still watching. Follow me, and I'll show you around the garden. Okay. Right, so first off here, as you can see, we're inside the tunnel. This is bed 1. That's a load of oregano. There's some pak choi. You can check out the video for planting that. I put that one up before this one actually. Some lovely strawberries. Coming a little bit earlier, they're supposed to be midsummer, but they have fresh compost. All different herbs here, a few tomatoes, peppers, a few strawberries on the ground, still a strawberry in the bed. There's some garlic chives, and there's some very overgrown chervil. Now you can see this is the grapevine, which will actually look fantastic when it is in full bloom and fruiting mode. There's the lazy boy for the quick sleep on a lazy afternoon. Bed 2 in the middle on the left of the screen. This is here, bed 3 on the right. There's all the rest of the stuff that I said. Wicker baskets. Now we'll just go outside the tunnel. A few tools there, bits of cardboard, the black plastic there you can see on the right hand side is what I did today. I trimmed all that today, and I'm going to be covering it with wood chip, cardboard and plastic. Bit of compost in a bag there. Cleaned up the little inset into the walkway. This here is the bed that was built last year, but as you can see where I'm pointing now, that was actually flush with the polytunnel. And then I realized a few weeks later that if the tunnel ever ripped, how would we get the drill in to take off the old cover? So I had to dig out all that bed the other day and move the bed. Huge mistake. There's the overview of the garden now. It's actually built on top of the septic tank. That's what the 3 pipes are. These are 6 beds. The middle right one that I'm walking up to now, I actually ran out of topsoil, so it's not quite finished yet. That's the spring cabbage from last year. I just had way too much of it, and yeah, ended up having to compost it. Quick view of the house there now, turning round, polytunnel, beds, and more beds. Hopefully they'll be filled with delights by the middle of summer. Down there now, that all has to be covered with cardboard and plastic, and topsoil, of course, will be going in there at some point in the not too distant future. Okay, we swing round. There's a bit of guttering on the ground to be sowing peas or lettuce seeds, something nice and light. That compost bin there is going to be moved. We'll get back to that. And then as we come up here, the wall, as I'm pointing, there's going to be a raised bed going down the back of that wall. There's some planters I built the other day, which are probably going to be covered with herbs. There's the remnants of the old scaffolding beds that I made back in 2014. Served me very, very well. This here now is all these bags of compost, are the spent compost from last year. That will be going to the herb planter on the wall there. I did get blight ever so slightly, so I can't reuse it for potatoes again. Here is a potato bed. First earlies, second earlies, and main crop will be going in at the very end there, just on the left as I walk down. I built them about 3 weeks ago. Here in the little ready-to-go raised bed is some chives, a few briquettes for the fire. There's the remnants of my old lean-to greenhouse for the tomatoes. That was supposed to be a no-dig bed, but it got more weeds than any of the other beds I ever did, so I'll refresh it at some point. And it is supposed to be a fruit area, I'm thinking, at some point. But there's plenty of time for that. Back down into the garden now. You can see all the mess there. That has to go to the skip or to be burned or something. That compost bin there is going to be moved down where that blue bin is, next to the other compost bin that I moved, and a raised bed put in its place. And then down here, of course, I trimmed all this today, being the 9th of April, Friday. 8 o'clock when I'm filming this. There's a little wildlife area, a few bird seeders, and then all the trimmed area is getting it ready to build bed. Again, there's going to be a little bed going in there just on the right hand side of the doors there. Take another look at what's going to be the wildlife area. That's going to be trimmed down that bush at some point. And there's another overview of just the garden and the general geography of what you're dealing with. Now we go back into the tunnel, and that is the little whistle stop tour finished with. So that was a quick tour of the garden, or what is going to be the garden, obviously. And that's really it. I don't really know the size of it. I've never actually measured it. I suppose altogether, it's probably not even 1/4 of an acre. I really don't know. I'm kind of bad at measurements. But it's big enough. And if I compact it dense enough with the raised beds that I pointed out that are going to be eventually there,
we should have quite a successful little operation going on. I'm hoping to get most of it done this year. Um, but you never know. Like, it all depends. Just, it all depends. Uh, so far, it's taken me 2 years to get this far. I'm getting help every now and then, but mostly I'm doing it kind of on my own. I've had a couple of hands with building beds and stuff, but yeah, I'm here pretty much just slogging it in, day out, bit by bit by bit. I've got a lot more to sew. There's a lot more content coming. My editing's not fantastic, but sure, it's not all about that, is it? It's about the information, really. So if you like what you see, please do like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. And that's about it, really, for this video. If you like what you see, subscribe, like I said, and be sure to hit that notification bell, and hopefully you can watch the next video. Yeah, that's it for now, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.